Hi everybody, Clark Smith here. I'm the winemaker for my own brand, Winesmith, but also it's a great privilege to be working with Jake Stevens to make the wines from his vineyard, Diamond Ridge Vineyards, under the label Two Jakes of Diamonds, which refers to Jake and his father who developed this vineyard back in the 90s. So the label is a tribute to his father, Jake II. This is an amazing vineyard. I've described it many times, but it bears repeating. It's in the southeast corner of Clear Lake, near the town of Clear Lake. It's got this amazing combination of basically a mountainous volcanic soil. Here's a shot of what that soil looks like. So it's decomposed granite and volcanic ash. And since it's a half a mile up, we've got very clean air, lots of UV, and that means we never get any pyrazines, the bell pepper smell that you often see in Bordeaux varieties. It's planted entirely to Bordeaux varieties plus Petite Sirah. I'll get to that in a minute. I love their Petite Sirah, and sometimes we go, well, maybe we should just grow that, because I do think it's the best Petite Sirah in the state. But the secret to that is, your problem in Lake County is that it can be hot and you can burn off your aromas and get some raisoning as the western sun goes down. But that never happens at Diamond Ridge because of the lake effect. And so we get a wind that picks up and cools everything down to about 60 degrees every afternoon at about 2:30. So we have to carry a sweater in our pickups for when it cools off. And that retains not only the rich red fruit that we get up there, but also some sort of very high-tone floral aspects. And I'll start talking about the lavender that we get in the Petite Sirah, for example. Now that volcanic soil has a couple of great effects. One of them is it controls the canopy, so it prevents shading because water just goes right through it. It has amazingly good drainage, and that means that the roots have to drill down deep and the vines put their energy into the root system instead of a big shaded canopy like you would get on the valley floor in Sonoma or Napa. And the other thing that's cool about this volcanic soil is that it imparts this palate energy in the finish. And I use the word minerality for that. I don't mean the smell of wet stone. I'm talking about an energy. Most people think it's acidity, but it's not. It's in the finish, and it just gives wonderful life to the palate of these wines, and also, for reasons unknown, imparts amazing longevity. So these wines are quite old. The first two we're going to taste are from 2013. They've been in a barrel until just recently. We had to do that in order to get them to come around because this incredible mineral energy really flattens the aging trajectory. So anyway, let's see what we've got here. That's a long time in oak, but these are all 20-year-old barrels, and so don't worry that the wines are oaky. They really aren't. The first one is a Meritage blend that we call Aspects. That's kind of a pun. It's made up from about 60% Merlot and 20% each of Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon. We're going to be able to smell the different fruit aspects of the wine, but also the term aspect in viticulture means which direction is the vineyard facing. Is it west or southeast or whatever? And this wine is a combination of a lot of different aspects, and so you'll find that it's quite complex. So it's a beautiful color, about what you would expect for a wine that's been in barrel for over 7 years. So the first thing that hits you here is the Merlot of this vineyard. It smells just like grenadine, pomegranate juice, bright, rich, red fruit. And then the Cabernet Franc is contributing some cinnamon, a little spice, and a fruit character that I call white cherry, sort of a high-pitched cherry And then, of course, the Cabernet Sauvignon, which is clone 15. It's a very big clone with a lot of tannic structure and tons of black cherry. All that mixed together, and just a little bit of what we call terroir. So there are droughty herbs in the area, sage and rosemary and bay laurel, and those show up here as well. They kind of evaporate from the wax cuticle of those plants, and they're absorbed onto the wax cuticle of the grape. So that's kind of our terroir. And then just the beginnings of the development of bottle bouquet, a little bit of Romano, a little bit truffle, but mostly it's really quite fresh. Now let's see what we have in the mouth. Boy, there's that palate energy. The tannins still have a little bit of a firmness to them, but they're really completely resolved. You wouldn't want it to be any softer than this. And then in the back, there's that mineral buzz. Let's look at the Cabernet Sauvignon. This is pure clone 15. And so that black cherry I was talking about, that's an element in the aspects. That's all you got here, and tremendous structure. And we've put this in a reserve package with this beautiful purple capsule up here I really like, with a purple laureate. Same kind of hue as the aspects, but darker. Well, here I'd say, besides that rich black cherry I was talking about, the development of the bottle bouquet is a little more advanced here. I'm getting some of that nice Cabernet tobacco. It's a real mouthful of wine, just approaching middle age. This is going to have a lot more aging potential in the cellar, and I'm sure will gain even more complexities, but it's perfectly drinkable now. Again, that mineral energy in the back. The tannins here are a little more grippy. So I would definitely have it with a grilled rib steak or a duck breast, something with some fat. And I think you're going to have to look long and hard to find another California Cabernet that's this good at this kind of price. So why is that true? Well, it has to do with the price of land. When you're paying $250,000 an acre for land in Napa, you really kind of have to charge a couple $100 just to break even. But that's not true in Lake County, where the land is a lot less expensive, $25,000 to $50,000 an acre. And so this wine retails for $50, and you'll certainly never find anything out of Napa for that kind of money that's worth a darn. All right, now let's get into Petit Syrah. Our ranch manager, Daniel Hernandez, he calls this the candy. It's a very rich and round wine with a rich purple color. Now, this isn't as old as the others. This is a 2017. Wine tends to sell out pretty quickly, and it comes around in the barrel more quickly than these others. And so you really have something that's very dense and purple. 2017. So 3 years in very old wood. And there is all of this blueberry. And up above it, you have that lavender that I told you about. And also some of those droughty herbs that comprise the terroir around this vineyard. Here I'm getting more of the sage character. Oh boy, this thing, it's totally different in its structure from these Bordelais varieties. It's really round. And the tannins, I mean, there's plenty of tannin, but it's almost like drinking olive oil. It's just, those tannins are extremely plush and smooth. Something you don't often see in Petit Syrah. So what would I do with this? For some reason I'm thinking Italian food. Partly, you know, the Sicilian stuff with all the red sauces and cheese, but also smoked meats, Parma ham, salami, and then olives and Marcona, you know, and certainly some carpaccio. For some reason, like cheesy meat dishes are ringing my bell here. This is just a yummy wine. You know, I think it doesn't have the intricate complexities that you get from these Bordeaux's, but this is just a nice back rub of a wine. It's very generous and very feminine, kind of a big fat mama of a wine. I'm sure you'll be able to understand why Daniel calls it the candy. Well, it's a privilege to make these wines, and thank you very much for your interest in them. I think you'll be very pleased. So here's to Jake, here's to his dad, and here's to all of you who understand and appreciate the project that we've got going together.